Oh, are we about to go live?
We
It says
are.
over there that we're about to go live.
We're about to go live in 7 seconds.
Oh, wait a second. Actually, 7. I have a new friend suggestion. Lou G. Replar Ghoul. Is that? Oh, it's Lou Ghoul.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Greg Howard's live now. Okay, let's do that. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the 40-40 minute.
Is that like a big pile of change that you just kicked?
No, I just tripped over a garbage can. After you told me that audio was going on.
I decided to play the audio just because I knew there was going to be something that would happen.
As I'm wont to do. Anyhow, welcome to the baseball podcast that features a fellow who knows a heck of a lot about the sport and, well, someone else. I am that someone else. My name is David Bronfman. I am your interim co-host.
And I'm the other someone else. My name is Greg Howard.
Yeah. And so welcome to the welcome to the show, everybody. So what's going on, Greg? What's going on in the world of Blue Jays baseball?
Well, the Blue Jays. Let's just break it down to you.
Okay.
Remember the beginning of the year, I said the Jays aren't going to be as bad as everyone thought.
Yeah, I seem to recall that.
I might have overestimated their
Might have
chances.
misspoken.
Well,
Possibly.
who's going to expect that 5 teams are going to hit 100 wins in the American League?
Well, I sure was. You heard me say no. You didn't.
You were the first. You were on the horn saying yes, that was going to happen. No, I mean they're still not as bad as other teams. It's just I didn't think we were going to get as injured as we did last year. We actually got even more injured.
Yes.
So let's look at the Jays' elimination number is 13 for the division. So that means 13 games, be it wins for Boston, losses for us, and we're out of. We won't be able to win the division.
Yeah.
If the elimination number 13 comes to fruition, we're 27 for the wild card.
And how many games are left?
There's about
More than 13.
Oh yes, there's
27.
50.
Wow, and we have to keep watching.
Yeah.
Or at least I do, apparently.
Baltimore has been eliminated.
Baltimore's been eliminated.
Yeah, they've been eliminated. They haven't been eliminated from the wild cards run, but their magic number, their elimination number is 8.
So now I have more bad news for you, which is remember how last week the Vegas had the Jays winning the World Series at 4,000 to 1.
It's gone up. It's 90,000.
We've now hit the theoretical limit.
Yeah.
At 4,999 to 1. The numbers do not go any further than that for this kind of betting, and so it's either time to invest, or it's time to give up.
I looked on I don't know which one you looked on. I looked on a Bodog site just for fun, and we are in the exact same ranking as Tampa Bay, which obviously because we're both in the same division against 2 teams that are going to reach 100.
Yeah.
Baltimore isn't even in it. They've been taken off because I'm guessing it's infinite. whatever you bet, they're just going to keep paying you if Baltimore somehow wins. And we're tied with Cincinnati, San Diego, and the Mets. Oh.
And we said that the Mets sucked earlier.
The Mets do suck. We're better than the Mets. But in terms of gambling purposes, the American League East is locked up. The National League East there's still an avenue for them to get in there.
Okay, so at least Vegas has not stopped taking bets for the Blue Jays.
No.
So in my mind, there actually still is some hope.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Yes. Possibly. Slightly a chance. And speaking of good news, bad news, we appear to be amongst a rash of rashes in the major league in the major leagues right now.
Yes.
There's and that's part of the title of this week's episode. Stay back. Have you or any of your friends been in contact with a Blue Jay or former Blue Jay in recent days? If you are, here's a phone number that you need to call. In fact, you know what? I was wondering if we could talk a little bit about some of these diseases and injuries and stuff that's been going on. Obviously, it obviously are the Blue Jays' plan of infecting the entire league is coming to fruition.
It seems each time we sort of give a pitcher to the city of New York in that area, that pitcher then comes down with foot and mouth disease fairly quickly. Fairly quickly.
So this is a thing. This is okay. And I'd have to imagine that that the Blue Jays organization, or perhaps Rogers, is behind this entire thing.
Well, you know, it's the whole Big Brother thing. They are very connected in terms of media.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're watching you.
Yes.
Although I don't know if they're watching me because I have Bell. But I mean, I guess they're.
I'm sure they've tapped into it in some manner.
They're all connected, you know, with the lesbian dentist cartel, the Rothschilds, the Gettys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
it's one big swindle.
I think now that we've heard about all these players having the hand, foot, and mouth disease, I thought maybe that we should talk about it just a little bit, because seeing as some of us go to Blue Jays games, we all might have it. And I wanted to bring in our medical correspondent for a little thing. Penny, come here, Penny, come here, Penny. So this is our medical correspondent. You may have met her in a previous episode. Her name is Penny, Penny Von Poopy Pants, sometimes known as Penny Dew, sometimes known as Dew, or when she's feeling saucy, the Dew.
The Dew. And
every once in a while, the Dune. So this is our medical correspondent, Penny Dew. And we're going to check Penny for hand, foot, and mouth disease. So one of the first things to detect if your subject has hand, foot, and mouth disease is a sense of general malaise. So, Penny, how are you feeling? Are you feeling okay about the world? What are your thoughts on Jimmy Carter? Okay, so I give her a pass.
Forever.
Yes, I give her a pass. I don't think she has some general malaise, so that's pretty good. Fever. So let's give that a feel. What do you think, Greg? Yep. Okay.
Yep, good.
So yeah, not bad. Basic doggy temperature, and then we have to look for blister-like lesions in the mouth. So there we go. Do you have a blister lesion? Apparently not.
But there was a growl.
And then on the hands, which I guess these are the hands, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, it would have to be hand, foot, and mouth. So
yes,
I guess it's the same. Like
I'm going to say that this counts as the foot as well.
Hand and foot.
So it's basically for you. It's foot and mouth disease, and I declare you clear. So there you go, Penny, and you get a treat for that. Come here, get a treat. Anyhow, so J.A. Happ, and this so hand, foot, and mouth disease lasts for a few days, but can remain contagious for a few weeks. J.A. Happ is playing tonight, so he's cleared, but is probably spreading it to other players.
The Noah Syndergaard, another J, who was formerly a J, and is now in New York, has got it as well, or had it for a good chunk of this year.
Right.
But yeah, no, there's been some crazy sort of infections going around.
Yeah.
Detroit Tigers just traded Leonis Martin at the trade deadline, and he played 6 games and then came down with an infection that they do not know what it is. It's actually it had him essentially in a life-threatening situation, and they were wondering if he was actually literally going to die. And that was as of yesterday, but as of about 6 hours ago, he's now put in stable condition because it had infected a number of various organs within him. But now it's under control. They still don't know what it is.
Don't get the day-old burrito special in Tijuana.
Well, that's the thing. Coming from Detroit to Cleveland, I mean, hygiene is rampant there.
Oh, well, we're all glad that he's doing okay, and this leads into another thing you want.
I did a little digging and found other instances where Toronto was involved with, not necessarily like as life-threatening injury or disease as Leonis Martin had. But I mean, we've actually had some guys that their careers have sort of ended, and we came out on the better end of it or on the worse end.
So we got rid of them and somehow sabotaged them, and then they finished their career.
Something happened. Yeah. I mean, it sort of happened to us in the tail end of the 90s. We made a trade with Chicago White Sox for Mike Soroka. We gave him David Wells, and David Wells, played for us for a bit, played for the Yankees, won some World Series, pitched a perfect game, came back, and then we sent him off to Chicago. We got this young kid, Mike Soroka, that was supposed to be good, with a torn labrum. Never pitched for the Jays. We paid him almost $7 million for 2 years. $7 million worth of fix-it, I guess, medical bills. And we ended up trading him away, and he never pitched again in the majors. David Wells ended up re-signing with the Yankees later on, pitched a few games for them. We did get on the better end of this, though. It's a guy named Josh Donaldson.
I've heard of him.
Yes.
Okay.
That we got from Oakland for Brett Laurie and a few others. And a few games into Brett Laurie's tenure in Oakland, he developed a mysteriously unknown upper body injury, and that's the only way they could sort of describe it, because it was something either with his back or with his ligaments, and it derailed his career. He ended up going with 3 other teams and still is now out of baseball, still trying to figure out exactly what is wrong with his body. The way he describes it is, he says it's a chain with a missing link, because he just can't seem to sort of connect. So we ended up getting an AL MVP, 2 straight postseason appearances, going all the way essentially to the American League Championship Series. Vernon Wells,
the Markelle Fultz of baseball.
Oh yeah, Vernon Wells,
basketball reference. Vernon Wells,
who played for Toronto for 7 years, was a Gold Glover 5 times over. Essentially our star center fielder before Kevin Pillar came along. Signed a fairly fat contract. So this wasn't a trade, but we sort of let him go to the Los Angeles Angels, and 6 games in. A thigh problem developed into a lower back problem, and he couldn't even run anymore. It's okay though, because there was some kid named Trout that came up and took his spot. And
Fishman.
Yeah. So if Vernon Wells didn't get injured, Mike Trout wouldn't be as great as he was today.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
But the Jays have come on the better end of it.
Yeah.
A lot of times. Yeah.
I'm being pressured over Facebook to make a comment. Fan of the show, Galen Hogg, wants me to let you know that he's got company tickets to the Jays game against Tampa Bay. Says it's not a big deal. Not a big deal. But he's only mentioned it 3 times. He's filling up our feed. But yeah, so there you go. So there you go, Galen. Have a good time. You can call us in remotely from the game if you want to.
Well, I mean, they're playing in Kansas right now. They don't have Tampa again for a few
Yes, but Greg, I'm only capable of learning so much about baseball a week at a time.
Well, I think Galen's just saying that up in the future.
And he will eventually. So he's not actually there today.
No, because they are in.
They're in KC.
Kansas, yeah.
See, I did actually know that, but I had to knock something else out of my head in order to say that. So the rest of the show is pretty much a wash for me.
Okay, we're good.
All right. Oh boy. Well, and so now because we're all kind of sucking, we're working out the rookies.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you feel about these things that have happened the last couple of days?
We brought up Sean Reed-Foley and Danny Jansen, and they actually did quite well. Danny Jansen could have got his first RBI, but I like Russell Martin. Love the guy to death, but he's not a fast dude, and he was waved around from second, coming around third. While Alex Gordon literally had the ball in his hand, about to throw it. Everyone knows he wasn't going to make this. I don't know what our coaching staff was thinking of calling him around on this one, but so he ends up getting thrown out. So he could have had his first RBI. He got his first hit. Actually got 2 hits. Threw out a base runner as well. So he's he's got a good arm. Yeah, I was pretty excited about that. I mean, Sean Reed-Foley did pretty well. Like pitched almost 6 innings, 4 strikeouts, gave up a few hits and 3 earned runs.
I believe the papers described it as not terrible.
No, it wasn't bad. It would be a hell of a lot better if it was against a better opponent. Mm-hmm. If it was against a tougher hitting team, because it was against Kansas City, and Kansas City's near the bottom. This depends on, if Baltimore loses a game or wins a game, they sort of flop at that point in time. But yeah, I like it wasn't as bad. He had Danny Jansen catching for him. So if he had maybe a major league catcher, maybe there could have been a little more communication to get a proper pitch in. But
I just wanted to take note that at this time of day, at this time of year, the beam of sunlight that is radiating off of both of our foreheads. I think that I
can see right across your face there. That's just our stage lighting. We fired our grip earlier on. So.
Yeah, and so now we just have to use ambient lighting, and the side effect of that is that I feel like I'm being sent up to heaven, part of the rapture. So I hope you don't mind the bright glow coming off of my enormous forehead. Please just redirect your eyes somewhere else for fear of blindness.
I guess that could have been the farm report. I mean, a lot of people are wondering if Vladdy's going to come up.
3 home runs in AAA so far, right?
Yeah, 4 now.
4 now.
He just got promoted to the Bisons. But I don't think he will, because if he comes up and plays a few games, then they're going to sort of have to readjust his contract. So I feel they'll let him sort of play out the year there.
Yeah.
And then come up next year. Oh, that's a big chomp on a bone there.
That sound effect is medical correspondent Penny enjoying a bone.
She's cleaning her teeth because she was worried about the mouth part of the foot and mouth disease.
We had some cool stuff. Giancarlo Stanton last week.
The fastest home run ever hit, like the fastest ball ever coming off a bat. It was 121.7.
Yeah. Wow, you got a good memory. I actually had this written down, 121.7. So this is exit velocity, which is the speed of the ball off the bat, not the speed of the ball as it leaves the stadium.
No,
which I just
it would obviously slow down.
Yeah. So it's 121.7 miles an hour off of Ariel Wardo. And just 4 days after he hit one off David Price for 121.1 miles per hour. So that's two of the fastest home runs of all time from the same person within the span of a week. Coincidentally, 121.7 miles per hour is the top speed a human has ever been on a pair of skis in 1977.
Oh my God.
So the sport of skeet skiing, which debuted at the Winter Olympics in 1992, speed skiing, where you basically just strap on a pair of skis
and go
down.
Well, they have that curved, almost like cycler helmet, but it's a full thing. And
it's amazing. They didn't put it into the Olympic Games eventually because people were dying. On skis, the Giancarlo Stanton standard, 1977 for speed on skis. 1992, by the time it was in the Winter Olympics, the record had gone up to 142.5 miles per hour. A major league player has yet to hit a ball that fast, and the record now is 158.424 miles per hour. They actually do it to the thousandth of a second now. They're still playing this game. People are still dying this game. But I figured that would be a good point of reference. If you can't picture how fast a ball is going off of Giancarlo Stanton's bat, I just want you to picture a skier going down a mountain in 1977 being the fastest person in the world. And now you can understand just how fast that ball was going. He also holds a couple other records. He has the hardest hit ball whatsoever. Those were the hardest hit home runs. He's got the hardest ball, which was like a grounder, 123.9 miles per hour. What are we looking at over there?
That's the kind they wear this. They wear this weird sloped hat.
Actually, a demonstration of the speed.
I'm just thinking of. I mean, I even learned to ski in the '80s, and the shitty equipment we had at that point in time. That's the '70s, and going that fast in obviously like crappy equipment. Oh my God.
Yeah. So it's basically a regular human being who engages in skiing at any point in time who wants to go straight down a hill is probably going to top out at about 85 miles an hour. So these people are going at inhuman speeds.
Sorry, yes. I cut you off in the midst of because he's got of the top 10 furthest hit balls.
Yeah.
He had 7 of them prior to Aaron Judge coming in. And now I think he's down to like 4 or 5.
He's just look, the man is a monster, and he's still on the Blue Jays. So,
well, he hasn't gotten diseased yet. So he's
So there is still hope. Yeah. Another person to play around Vladdy Jr. Right? Yeah.
If we're willing to pay the $300 million that it is, $350 million.
Of course.
Yeah. But I would like to see that. Other things that are actually kind of cool. A guy named Trevor Richards, who a year ago was working in the gift shop at a Miller brewery, ended up pitching against the Brewers in Miller Park. So like he was working in a gift shop in a brewery.
Yeah.
For the company that owns the stadium that he was actually playing against. And that's the kind of cool thing about baseball is I don't even know actually how many teams. It's decipherable. I should be able to figure this out. But I mean, divisions from the major leagues, AAA, AA, Single A, Advanced A, Gulf Coast League, the Foreign Rookie League, the Pacific League. And each team has essentially a representative of that. So factor in, say like 30 times 6. Mm-hmm. So essentially 1,800. 1,800.
This is like a professor talking to a lecture hall. Look, everyone in this lecture hall, look to your left.
Yeah.
Now look to your right. 2 of you play professional baseball.
Not at a high level, but still. But the fact is that, and some of these it's not 1,000. Bad math there, Greg. Bad math.
That's okay. That's okay. We can forgive you for that.
Yeah. 180. 180. I just moved a 0 across. So roughly 200 teams because there's some extra teams that are kicking in there. But yeah, and then you've got guys that are bagging groceries, and then all of a sudden they get their chance and they can light it up.
It's pretty cool. It's different from most any other sport.
Yeah.
Waving hello to Elizabeth Kumar, newly named fan of the show, who's just logged in, and fan of the show, Galen Hogg, was just wondering at what point does exit velocity cease to increase? Once you hit the ball, what happens to that ball?
If it's hit in a vacuum, it doesn't.
It doesn't. So it basically just it's so that's the amount of energy that goes into a ball, and then after that, your balls are losing energy.
Like if it is hit within the solar system, the sun's gravity will act upon it at some point.
Will eventually.
Once it does hit the heliosphere, it will slow down.
Okay. Yeah. But then once it gets closer to the sun, it may increase its speed.
Yeah.
All right. So you're gonna have to wait a while for that. For Giancarlo Stanton's ball to increase their game in terms of speed.
Because what was the New Horizons probe that went out to Pluto? Actually, like about a month ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
A month ago, 2 years ago. It was traveling at 22 kilometers a second. Factor that in. 22 kilometers a second. So
22 kilometers. I made it to work and back.
Yeah.
Just like that. See? It saved my commute. Thank you, New Horizons. We have a caller.
Ooh, it's Jeff, but unfortunately,
he's still logging in.
Okay. I'm gonna play his intro, but nothing's gonna happen.
Well, but
I'm hoping.
Why are we good? Okay, you think he's gonna arrive?
I'm hoping. Yeah. It's because I dig that intro. Yeah, no, he's not there.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for the intro.
It's spinning.
He's okay. So now so Jeff, who is the true co-host of this show, was in China, where we actually spoke to him live, and now he is literally down the street.
Yes.
And it's
coming through less.
And
like if you see on the second Bing.
There's
great.
And okay, now
there we go. No, there we go.
Oh
Beauty. Cool.
Oh,
that would be Jeff.
Fantastic technology.
I know. You know what? Should have used Screencast.
We spare no expense. Do you have a tab open there that's something hub? It was
Silk Road.
Yeah.
It was Silk Road.
Oh, that was what it was.
Sorry, I was I'm also over here mining Bitcoin because I'll use your power. Yeah.
Wait, I just got something in. I'm just hearing from team trainer Nikki Huffman for the Toronto Blue Jays that Josh Donaldson has just been cleared to sleep under a duvet weighing over 5 pounds. He's getting there. He's almost ready to play for us.
That's amazing. I'm so happy for him. It's such a good thing.
Now, you want to talk about a couple of things, one of which was the thing that I learned this week.
Oh, yes.
Which we could go into if you wanted to.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's do that right now.
And then there were a couple other. Okay, great. So here we go.
What did Dave learn this week?
All right, folks. So every week, virtually every week, Greg gives me a subject to study. I study that subject, and I come back and I deliver my report, and then Greg proceeds to tell me how I got the report wrong. And it's something that we like to call "What did Dave learn this week?" And this week, Greg sent me a text, and he says, "I want to try out the hot corner." And so I Googled hot corner. And how should I put this?
And you went to the Harveys on the corner of Jarvis.
I wish it were that simple, because of the way that you worded your text. So, Urban Dictionary defines the term hot corner. How should I put this? When a man puts his miniature baseball bat into someone's armpit, and that's a hot corner.
That's a new one.
That's what the kids are doing here. And so you wanted me to try this, Greg, and I got to tell you,
no,
I'm really not looking forward to it.
I think we're good. I think we're good on that one.
Thank God the second listing on Google actually had something to do with baseball. And it was it's not that, thank God. It's it's third base. Third base is the hot corner. And so I think all of you knew that, except for me, of course. But I wanted to do a little bit of research just to make this a little bit worthwhile. What else did Dave learn this week? Well, he learned the history of the hot corner.
Okay.
And I think the general idea of why it's called the hot corner, people have sort of figured it out, because it's the third baseman is relatively closer to the ball as it's batted off of a batter's bat. Most batters are right-handed, and most of these balls come at incredibly fast speed over to the third
AKA Giancarlo Stanton is right-handed.
Yes, and so his grounder probably went at 123 miles per hour over to whatever third baseman was over there, or excuse me, whoever was manning the hot corner at the time. Yeah, there you go. And so so therein lies the hot, because that's the corner where all the action happens. It's hot. Speaking of, the word hot, as it's used in baseball, has a history. It has a history longer than the use of the term hot corner, which makes sense because it's only one word, and hot corner is two words. You have to put those two words together. So, but hot is used as a term in baseball for a ball that is hit or thrown at a great speed, and it dates back to 1867. First use of the word hot. I learned how to read. The first use of the word hot in baseball was written in the Detroit Advertiser and Tribune. The quote, Milholland taking lots of hot balls. That's an actual quote. Detroit Advertiser and Tribune,
oh my God.
1867. And then the term hot corner, of course, is an extension of this, but its origins are dodgy. There are some folk that think it started in one place, think it started in another place. There is debate as to which corner is hot, because in the 30s they were saying, well, we're getting a lot more left-handed hitters, so is first the hot corner. And but you still have an early reference to the term hot corner written in 1889. It's not long after the word hot was first used. Where in Cincinnati, where it was said of Reds' third baseman, Hick Carpenter, the Brooklyns had old Hick on the hot corner all afternoon, and it's a miracle he wasn't murdered, because I guess he was taking a lot of line drives over and over again. A lot of hot balls,
possibly to the face.
Hot balls right to the face.
Yeah.
And so hot corner is now used all over the place. It's very good for writers who don't want to repeat the word third base over and over again. They pick up their baseball thesaurus and they get hot corner. And now if you were to think that the term hot corner would be a good name for a concession stand in your stadium, then congratulations, you have the same level of creativity of most every single stadium designer in the major leagues, because hot corner does happen to be the name of a concession stand in virtually every stadium in Major League Baseball. There's the hot corner concession stand in Anaheim's Big A. There's the hot corner bar, San Francisco's AT&T Park. There's the hot corner grill in Kansas City's Kauffman Stadium. There's the hot corner burrito stand at St. Louis's Busch Stadium. There's an entire hot corner area. Is it still a corner if it's a full area? The hot corner area in Milwaukee's Miller Park. And there's also the hot corner karaoke station at Atlanta's SunTrust Park.
Oh my God.
We're taking a trip to Atlanta.
I'm down with that.
We're singing in the hot corner. All right. Then if third base is the hot corner, then Greg, do you know what kind of corner second base is called? It's also called a corner.
That I actually do not know.
This is going to be a tough one because you're going to say I did know that, it's just worded improperly, but it is sometimes called the Keystone Corner. It is called the Keystone Base.
I have heard of it,
but sometimes called the Keystone Corner.
It's rarely used at this point in time.
And first base sometimes is called.
Please be the soft corner.
I'm having trouble even picturing that. It's sometimes called the other hot corner, which is pretty lame.
It's pretty lame.
Yeah. And there you go. That's what did Dave learn this week?
Well,
hot corners, all for you.
I've got a quiz for you, Dave.
Okay.
So we've got a hot corner quiz, or a hot quiz, I should say. Okay, so in front of you, it's yet again, it's hot math.
This is tough because I'm going to lean in, folks. I'm really sorry, but I got to lean in to see.
I'm gonna make this a little better. Okay, so you've got a picture of Tara Reid.
Yes.
And you've got a big pile of drugs on a table. And what is the hot in that?
That is a I was going to say steamer, but that doesn't count.
Well,
okay. Oh,
be prepared. That's coming up. That would be a hot mess.
It's a hot mess.
Okay, so yet again, we've got another picture of Tara Reid.
Okay.
Plus a steaming pile of shit.
Okay.
And some saran wrap.
That is I think that's called a hot lunch.
Hot lunch or hot car? Yeah, there you go.
It's
hot
a hot
lunch
car.
Or hot car.
Okay.
Yeah.
0 for 2.
And okay, so this one's actually fairly basic. It's bourbon or gin or some form of alcohol plus honey plus lemons plus tea equals
gin honey lemon tea.
A hot toddy.
Hot toddy.
A hot toddy.
It was a gin honey lemon tea.
A gin lemon tea. Okay. No, but you passed. You nailed the hot lunch.
They all had the word hot in them.
Yes.
I think I get 50% because I got them all half right.
You got half of that.
I got them all half right. These quizzes are getting more and more difficult as the season goes by. It's because I'm becoming such an expert on baseball that you really have to stretch.
I'm gonna start sort of releasing the quizzes as still shots on either the 4040 Men Facebook site or our Twitter page or something like that. So just so everyone else can play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's about it. But yeah, I always do a little what happened on this day in sports, and it's actually kind of fun for today. There's only two sort of main big ones that happened in 1982. Some guy named Pete Rose. I don't know if he's that good because he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Oh no! I've heard of this guy.
He mustn't be that good because he's not in the Hall of Fame. He passed Hank Aaron with his 12,365th at bat. 12,365th at bat in 1982, becoming the all-time leader. He eventually finished with 15,890 at bats. So doing something 15,890 times, that's a lot.
I did that in my teens.
At what speed? At 121.7 miles an hour. And the friction was
immeasurable.
And
that was in the days of Letitia Casta and Cindy Crawford. Boy, oh boy, Victoria's Secret. Was...
and also on this date in 2003, we would not be doing this broadcast because, well, this platform didn't exist. This computer wasn't around, and there was no power throughout the northeast corner of North America, essentially. Randomly, even though there was a complete blackout and baseball is a summer sport, most of the teams that actually had their that have their home on the East Coast were either dormant that night or away in the West Coast. So there was only one game that was actually canceled throughout that massive blackout, which was San Francisco and who? The Mets. The Mets were the only one that got canceled out of that one.
I was going to say the Toronto Blue Jays.
No, poor Mets. The Mets.
Of course.
Of course. But yeah, that's the skinny on that.
This date in history brought to you by Greg Howard and Henderson Brewery.
Henderson Brewery. Well, speaking of Henderson, let's pay some bills here.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay. And if you can't get this question,
is this a thing? Are we doing?
Yes.
We're doing trivia.
It's coming up.
Okay.
What brewery sponsors our podcast? Brought to you by Henderson Brewery.
So if somebody gets this question right,
they get some Henderson swag. Be it Galen Hogg or Elizabeth Kumar, that is online right now. If one of them even just literally types in the word Henderson,
they get some free stuff.
They get some
free swag. Galen said that Galen, fan of the show, said that he had to go back to class.
Oh. So how about you watch us next time when you have no class?
Thus reducing our live viewing audience by half.
Oh, it's crushing. we now have a viewer.
Yeah. Oh well. So please, we're drowning in t-shirts.
Yes.
And sometimes beer.
And
headbands.
And headbands. Yeah,
as
cool
well.
Headbands.
I know we had a couple other subjects, but I'm looking at the time.
Yeah, we've filled the void a lot.
Yeah, I'm thinking that.
Oh, there's actually one thing that I do want to do.
Yeah.
I know it's going to be bleeped out, but I do have to give out a fuck you of the week.
Okay.
Because
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. Pardon me. But Jay Bruce, an outfielder for the New York Mets, has because the end of August trade deadline is fast approaching, and he's probably one that's going to move. He has placed the Jays on his no trade list today.
Who else is on the no trade list?
Randomly,
just
the
us.
A's. Randomly, the A's, and the A's are actually in a playoff contention. So he probably just doesn't like the city. So he doesn't like Oakland, doesn't like us. So
well, this might go into. We might talk about it next week because we were going to talk about it this week. But one of the reasons why some players don't want to get traded or don't is the fact that we don't have real grass at Robertson.
That is a thing.
And I think that that's a subject that we'll deal with next week. If you want to do that,
we can broach that next week. And also, some of them are just dicks.
Yeah, that too. Well, it is baseball,
and we do tax a hell of a lot.
That's also true. Well, folks, thanks for joining us for another episode of the 4040 Men. 4040 Men brought to you by Henderson Brewery. Henderson Brewing. They make beer. And also, if you feel like doing this kind of thing, podcasting, broadcasting, doing things live with video and sound and graphics and such, we use stage10.tv. It's a web-based, browser-based podcasting platform. And it lets Greg do all this stuff over here while I pretend to know things about baseball. It's a lot of fun. So go over to stage10.tv.
I should have screencasted earlier on. I should have screencasted.
We're going to try that. There's always new bells and whistles going on. Anyhow, there we go. There's another fine episode in the can. And I'm off to put something in the can. And until next week, my name is David Bronfman.
And my name is Greg.
And stay safe. 4040 Men are David Bronfman and Greg Howard. Produced by Greg Howard. Sponsored by Henderson Brewing Company. Henderson! Filmed in Toronto using... And things and apples and Boses.